Hi, I'm Cindy Robertson, and I'm going to show you how to fill holes today in the Adirondack chair, the Have a Seat project that is going on for auction. It's coming up for auction in September 14th. It'll be at the Wood Theater in town. Oh, this is terrible. Okay, so hi. We are, I'm filling up holes today in the Adirondack chair that we've been working on for LARAC's, the Lower Adirondack Regional Arts Council project for Have a Seat, which is, local artisans apply to work, be creative on an Adirondack chair. We all got the same chair, and we all have done different things with it. So I'm going to show you how to fill the holes in those chairs today, and then, of course, there's more to come, so I hope you keep joining me. Thank you very much. Hello. Back again. Okay. I keep turning it off. Let's see. Okay, so basically, some of these holes on the sides here are done with a finishing nail. And some of them are at the surface, like this one's kind of, you feel it, if you put your finger over it, if you have your finger over it and you still feel the nail, then that needs to be sunken in a little bit better. So we need to just tap it out. See if I can get a better angle here. There we go. It's a better angle. So the ones that show, you want to actually, I'm just going to try to get a little edge here and just tap it lower. Yeah. You want to tap it lower so it's not flush with the wood because you want to be able to fill it. So the plastic wood will fill it flush. And again, you want to do kind of small amounts. You don't want to get it everywhere because it's just not necessary. But the more the better your prep, which means all the, even the, that includes, finishing the nails and gessoing or priming. It's the same, gesso is the same thing as priming. Like you prime a wall before you paint it with color, you would prime or gesso your artwork, including canvases. So basically your paintwork will look much better if your prep is the best. And some people don't really like all the prep work, filling holes and gouges and priming and things like that. It doesn't seem like maybe you wanted to skip that part, but it is a really important process if you want your painting to look as good as it does. So don't skimp on that. Take the time. Once we have all my holes filled, I will also sand them down so that they're flush again, and then we'll start on priming. And I hope you join me at the next level so you can see the process of this thing, and I will show you how to sculpt and paint and carve and embellish anything you really like. So thank you for being with me today, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Okay, so we're going to use plastic wood. Plastic wood. They always turn it upside down because it usually has like oil. I don't know what it's like, like peanut butter separate, natural peanut butter and natural almond butters, and they separate. You have to kind of stir it up before you use it for the first time, or it gets so dry at the end that you won't be able to use it. And basically all you're going to do is I'm going to get some of it out because it's such a small little thing, because I don't want to use cap to get a whole big quart. You're going to have a little bit, and basically all you're going to do is fill the hole and scrape off some of that You want to scrape off all the excess there because you're still going to have to sand it after, but you don't want to have to sand forever. Sanding is not one of my favorite things. So I try to make it as smooth as possible, but you want it covered. And sometimes screw holes like this deep will need to take more than one coat. So, and then also, just to show you before I go on and skip through this, because you need to see me fill every hole. You get the idea of how to fill the hole. We will, there's also tiny little finishing nails that were put into the seat here. Some of them are good to. Feels tedious sometimes, but it is the best thing to do. You don't have to worry also if at some point you dig into the wood a little bit, or your tool slips and you gouge it, because you're still filling these holes anyway, so it's no big deal. There's no real mistakes in artwork, which is great. In some cultures, they actually want you to make an intentional error in your artwork, because it shows the nature, that nature, nothing is really perfect, but always beautiful. So sometimes one of the things, like if you make a blotch and paint, or if some things you can always cover, but if you don't want to cover it, you can also make it something special. Which I learned a long time ago when I was a fashion designer. I was working on some hand painting onto a project, and I felt so embarrassed because it was the first time I was doing it, and I was really trying to impress my boss, as we want to do, and I was leaning on it, and I had gotten paint over, which is what I do, so most of the time. And I end up with paint on me no matter what. I don't know how people can be clean without it on paint and not get it all over them, but I do that with everything, even like cake batter. So anyways, but I was leaning on something, and I'd already like wiped it off with my shirt, I guess, and I made this big blotch after I was almost done with this beautiful painting. And my boss came over, and she saw me trying to like wipe it off or blot it out, and she's like, no, why don't you make like a flower out of it? And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, just to, somebody who doesn't know what it was supposed to look like will think that it has something extra special on it. And I did that, and that was actually one of the first things that sold, was that particular piece, even though I'd done like a whole bunch of them all the same. So you don't ever have to worry about making mistakes. I think that's the beauty in art and in life. I mean, I've learned, it's taken me a long time to learn that mistakes are stepping stones. They're not horrible, and everybody makes them, and you can make something beautiful out of what you think is something that happened that seems wrong sometimes. So don't be afraid. The whole process is to be fun and to let nature kind of take its course, and to be present in the moment, and not to get caught up in fears and anxiousness. And that's why I love art. That's why I've done it for so many years. So anyway, so let's get back to filling these holes. It does seem tedious sometimes, but like I said, the end result is always much better when you take the time to do it properly. So again, don't be afraid to, if your tool slips or it gouges more wood, you can either cover it or you can add to it, embellish it. Make it like that. I got it right in there. I don't know if you saw that, but I gouged it a little. My tool slipped, so it's off the nail all the way and into the wood. But again, no big deal, because all you do is cut. We're going to be filling that anyways. This one needs to be done a little bit more. on one side somehow. And some of these ones that are on the sides here were very deep, so they may take some more layers of putting on the plastic wood. And remember, with the plastic wood, it is a plastic, so it dries on your fingers. I always use my hands and everything around me to use when I'm doing artwork. But you could wear gloves because it doesn't come off easy. It is a plastic, that's for sure. So we'll finish filling in those holes. And it doesn't take much of this plastic wood, because like I said, on some of these, some of them are deeper, some of them are more shallow. We may have to do a second layer as it dries. But this plastic wood, like I said, dries fast. And exposed to air. It also dries fast, even once it's exposed to air. So that's why I really only get it in smaller quantities, because I find, especially on a project like this, I don't need it for a whole lot. And it lasts, but, oh man. Oh, and you can see, like, even these, some of these have been like stripped. Some of these are not flush either, so they need to be drilled in more. So I'm going to get my drill. I'm back with my drill, and they look like they're pretty big. I don't know if some of these have been stripped or if it's a different shape. We're going to try a different shape first. Let's see, I have my little handy dandy tool kit, bit kit. And see, theirs is like a star, and not, that one's too big. So go to the next size down. That one might work. This is pretty simple. Anybody's used to any pretty, it's just a hand drill. Powered up, obviously. Oh, no, that's not going to work, is it? Oh, there it goes. This one's not. And this is the drill bit. It's like a star. You don't see these very often. I don't know why. These and not regular screw. But they definitely needed to be inset a little bit more, because they were kind of sticking up. And that's what happens sometimes. They did a bunch of these for everybody. And I'm hoping that these ones below the chair rail that I can't. Yeah, they've been put in pretty well, so that's good. Thank goodness. Let's go to this back here and see for the side. I don't know how anything's showing. Anything over here. These are really deep, so I don't have to worry about that. Down here, those are pretty inset. But again, you see how much filling we have to do. Some of the artisans might use the screws as, as a part of the artwork. I don't know, but I know I want a smooth surface for what I want to do. I don't know if that's a better angle for the chair while I'm just filling in holes again. Now you see, I just put this down and it's like already crunchy. It's good to fill in deep holes. I don't really have that many deep holes anymore. So I'm just going to take that right off. because it won't put in there smoothly. You don't want to keep reusing this stuff because, again, it's plastic, it dries fast, so you'll have two hard, crunchy bits inside of a smooth bit, and it'll make you really frustrated by trying to just get a smooth look. So you just take a little bit at a time that I'm putting onto my palette knife. Okay. This process always takes longer than you think. Actually, everything always takes longer than you think. It looks easy. It's like when you go to a modern museum and you see like this big canvas and just it looks like just one splotch of paint, but it never really is all that. It takes a lot longer than you think. Actually, you know what? This is not working so easily with this, so I'm going to caulk it with a different product. Since I definitely know I am priming and painting this area, it doesn't have to be in this plastic wood. It doesn't have to look like wood. It doesn't have to attempt to be wood. It just needs to be filled so I don't see the lines going through the painting. So I will be back and show you what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to fill that in a gouge. It's really from planing or someone, it's from, or using a sander where it was the edge that got it and they didn't go over it again, and that just happens. And the nice thing about doing something like this is that you get to catch those things that you know you don't want. Is it still on? I think it's still on. Okay, we are coming back with, this is a great product. It's great for filling in holes in walls. It starts out pink. It even tells you when it's dry. It starts out pink and it dries white. And it's great for caulking anything. So I'm gonna scrape off what I just put on with the plastic wood. The other great thing about this product is that it's much faster drying. Actually, I guess it's not because this plastic wood dries pretty quick, but it's just a little bit more viscous, maybe. It fills the cracks a little easier than the plastic wood. The plastic wood, since it's trying to be like wood, it has more fibers in it, so it doesn't always like sink into something. Because this is a pretty thin little gouge, but I still want it covered because I will see it at the end. So I'll be right back. I just went to go clean the plastic wood off my spatula. You don't want any dirt or any crunchy things when you're dealing with caulking, because it will just keep running through it and it makes a mess. And that's true with paint. Paint likes a clean brush always. If you drop it in the dirt or if you drop it in like hair from an animal or something, you really need to clean that off. Start with a new brush, really. It's just easier. You don't have to start with a new brush, but you have to wait for that brush to dry if you're going to be working with it. So we are filling just this. See, I don't know if you can see this because it filled so much easier because it's more fluid. See how that, I don't know if you can see. See that here where you can kind of see, and it just fills it right in there. Much easier than the plastic wood for these kinds of just simple thin markings. And you kind of want to scrape off all the extra stuff. I mean, we're still going to have to sand, even though it looks like it's clear. It still kind of can get into the wood and leave markings when you're doing your painting. But that is one smooth little thing right there. And this extra stuff, sometimes I do not, because you see, I don't know if you can see, but it's got like sanding material and all that stuff. So I'm not going to try to save it and put it back into the container because it'll just ruin. And so we just cover it up, clean it, keep it tight, and then I'll just get rid of that. It's not a big deal. It's a pretty inexpensive product for all the kinds of things you can use with it. So that's it for today because we have to let this stuff dry, and I'll be back. And now we will finish up the priming. Well, we're still the prep work. Thanks for checking in with me, and Cindy Robertson, and I'll be back with you another time. Bye-bye.